I got the invitation to go on this Armed Lutheran radio show, though. You know this guy? Have you seen this? There's two things that I would like to say that make me feel safe. Number one, the fact that there is a radio show called the Armed Lutheran Podcast somewhere in the world. That makes me feel safer.
Pistols, prayer, and potluck. This is Armed Lutheran Radio.
Hey folks, welcome to Armed Lutheran Radio, a show about guns, hunting, competitive shooting, the natural right of self-defense, and what God's Word says about the issues surrounding gun rights and gun ownership. I am your host, Lloyd Bailey, the Armed Lutheran, and this is episode number 411. And this is our online hangout for July of 2024. Welcome, one and all. Thank you all for your support, and thank you for listening. For those of you new, hope you will come back and listen next week as well, and go check out the back catalog. For those of you who are return listeners, thank you so much for your support. What this is a hangout with members of what we call the Reformation Gun Club, the people who help make the show possible. We are listener funded. We don't have any advertising. We don't have any sponsors. We rely on the good people who are members of the Reformation Gun Club and their $36 a year annual membership fees to help keep us going. And you're going to meet some of those awesome people here in just a moment. If you would like to find out more, if you would like to support the show and get invitations to these online hangouts, visit reformationgunclub.com and sign up today. We would love to help you or have you join us. This is the final episode to be recorded in this studio, the third studio that I've had since being in this house over the past almost 9 years. We are moving to a new house, which means a new audio, a new office, new studio. That's all going to start next week. So you'll notice some of the sparseness of the decor behind me, but next week will be different. So let's get things going. There's lots that's happened since we were together. And oh yes, Mia is here. Got a full cast here tonight. Will is not in a car this time. That's good to see.
Oh, I can change that. I'm just parked outside.
No. No need. Glad you're not drinking and driving tonight.
Nope, I'm just drinking and sitting.
Just drinking and sitting. Very nice. Yeah. Pastor, how are you?
I'm doing well, thank you. How's everybody else doing?
We're good.
Good. I almost didn't make it tonight because our internet went out.
Oh, no.
Yeah. Well, and our home internet and our cell phones and our home phones are all Verizon. And about midnight last night, everything went out. Hey, Mia.
Hi, guys.
How are you?
I'm good. I brought company.
Awesome.
Hello,
this is Hank.
Hank, how are you?
I got a gun named Hank.
It's a good name for a gun.
Hank the cow dog?
A gun.
Oh, gun. Okay.
Even better. I've only heard Hank's voice on our Christmas specials, so it's great to have you here.
She talked me into it. See what you guys are all about.
Well, I was a little late getting started because I was having some audio issues, so I apologize for that. And as you can tell from the sparseness of everything behind me, this is the last time we'll be recording in this space. Moving to a new house next week, so next time we get together, we'll have a whole new office, whole new studio space set up. So great to have you guys all here. So let's start. There's been an absolute Troy ton of things that have happened since we were together last. So let's waste no time. Let's catch up. Will, what have you been up to?
Oh, a little bit of everything. This is so. When I first started hanging out with you guys, I was only doing accounting. Last year, I lost a job, and so as most of you know, I started a window washing business, mostly to get off my butt. And it's going really well. It's been busy. I sleep better. I make better money. I've lost a bunch of weight because I'm not sitting at a computer all the time, and it's just been busy. So, and I'm out here in Northwest Arkansas, so it's muggy as all
It's
get out.
very muggy, so you're losing less of weight.
Oh my gosh, it's wild. And most of well, I started it in October last year, and up until last month, I usually wouldn't take a break in the middle of the day. But now I'm like, if I don't take a break and sit down and have a bunch of water, and I'm sipping water all the time, but if I don't sit down and actually take a break and put some food in my belly, I can't make it. It's just so oppressively hot and, well, mostly muggy.
Yeah.
So that, and I bought a couple guns, and that was kind of fun.
Ooh, do tell.
So PSA dagger, so the Palmetto State, massive sales got me. So I started with just the slide because it had a threaded barrel and it was RMR cut. And I was like, yeah, I'll just look and see what their lowers are going for. And it was like $50 for a lower. So I was like, okay, for $250 plus the transfer, I've got a new gun. And then while I was looking for the lower, I was like, I'll look and see what they've got going on for pistol calibers. And so I got an AR-19 from Armalite for $500.
Oh wow!
So and they both needed a little bit of break in, so a couple hundred rounds in each, and they're shooting fine, good little groups, and yeah, I'm a happy camper.
Nice. What are we drinking tonight?
McGuire's Draft, Stout Draft rather. So it's local Aldi carries this, so it's not quite a Guinness, but it's very lovely.
Nice.
And then when that goes, which it will go shortly, I've got a PBR.
All right.
I've got some Evan Williams in the car, but I'm probably driving home, so I'm not gonna do that.
Yeah, let's not do that. Stuart, how about you? What have you been up to?
That's what I've been up to. Not much.
Oh, Nelly.
No.
So
I saw the pictures from the hospital.
yeah, you should see the picture. My lawyer doesn't want me to say a lot, but I have a fork in my arm now, so I'm done.
Oh. So okay.
But I've been.
Can you give
John,
for those who don't know the story? Can you give them without revealing details of your case?
I was riding my e-bike home from downtown and Pensacola on Garden. Red light, it goes green, so no cross traffic. I go across, and this lady veered into me, pushed me around, and I ended up on the ground. I guess I stopped myself with this. Yay.
That'll do it.
Yeah. Better that than your head.
Well, you can't hurt that. It's already screwed up anyway, John. You know that. And by the way, John, before I forget, thanks for telling me about that humidor. It's fantastic.
I'm sorry I never posted a review on that. Yeah, it is. And the company's fantastic. My hydrometer was off by 5-6%, and it wouldn't calibrate. No questions asked. They just dropped me a new one in the mail and said, just throw out the old one. They've been awesome.
Yeah, great humidor. Not that you really need it in Florida. By the way, muggy, I don't have to work outside, so I have to sit outside and drink. That's the difference.
Yeah.
So
speaking of which, what are you drinking
tonight? Manhattan out of my grandfather's martini glass. I don't have a Manhattan glass, so well.
That'll work.
Yeah.
It still pours.
It still pours. It still works. And it's not as big as the martini glasses I have. I don't need that much more. I'd been downtown Pensacola at the Cigar Bar earlier.
So David, are you in trouble on Facebook? What is let's see, I will not win a Dodge Charger. What in the world is going on there?
It's something left over from one of the security classes I taught.
What have you been up to?
Oh, I just
trouble, no doubt.
Oh, plenty. Just got back from Italy. Took the chorus over there, 50 people, and a good time was had by all. fantastic music. Had a great time.
Nice. What part of Italy? You told us last time. And
Tuscany,
Tuscany.
primarily. So we went to Siena, a little town called Montecatini Terme, about 30 miles outside of Florence. So a lot of walking, a lot of sightseeing. Worked out well. And so I celebrated by purchasing a Beretta, to match the trip.
Awesome.
And so it's an
Hey,
84.
David?
Huh?
I may need to sync up with you through Facebook or something. We're going to be in Italy and Tuscany in January, February of early next year. So if there's anything that we absolutely should not miss, I'd like you to tell me.
Oh, Lordy, I missed it all.
Oh,
We got to, although we did get to stay out in the countryside. So you've heard of the movie The Monument Men, George Clooney.
yeah. Oh, fantastic movie.
The story about, hiding the art from the Nazis.
Yeah.
That's where we stayed.
Nice.
It's a place called
That's
Villa
very cool.
Sabellini. And so it's now a resort with fabulous food. And it was we just chilled our jets there for a day or so.
Nice.
Beautiful time.
Nice.
So.
And I interrupted you right in the middle of you talking about the Beretta. So carry on with that.
Beretta 84B, 84BB. So it's a 380. And then I also got bit by Palmetto State. So so you remember there was a thing going on when Hillary was running for office about everybody should go buy an AR. There was some kind of thing going around at that time.
Yeah.
Every
And
time
my
there's an election,
my
pretty
wife
much.
said, "What do I need to do to have an AR?" And she said, what's the least expensive AR that I can buy? I said, you can buy a lower. And so just happened to find a lower on sale, a Ruger lower on sale for about $50 that week. And it's been sitting in the house ever since until a couple of weeks ago, and it got built out as a 300 blackout pistol, 8.5 inch barrel. So
Nice.
Right.
we'll see if a can is in the future. Who knows?
On an 8.5 inch barrel, there better be. Yeah. That'll be a little bit loud. What are you drinking tonight?
Oh, you know me, always something simple. Ginger ale.
Ginger ale. All right. Okay.
Blah blah. Although I did try a more wine. I had more wine on this vacation than I've ever had in 1 week in my life.
You were in Italy. You better.
Yeah.
Seems like the thing to do.
Went to a
That'd be
vineyard.
like going to Germany and not having any beer.
Yeah. Well, I've done that too, but but it was interesting because I was with people who knew what they were doing. And so it was more interesting and more satisfying than just going, oh, that sounds good. You know, it was a lot better. But
I'm going to jump to the bottom here. We have not seen Mia's face in many moons. So I'm going to turn it over to you. I want to know what you have been up to. You have been very busy.
We have been very busy. Geez, I don't know where to start. Right now, you guys are talking about guns. So of course I want to talk about guns too.
Ooh.
I'm working on an article about micro compacts and kind of like how we've evolved from like a 38 special into, a Max 9 or a P365 type of deal. And
Right.
Hank's working on an AR build and he's waiting for Palmetto parts. So that kind of like was like a.
We need to get
To bring
Palmetto
up
to sponsor
Palmetto.
this episode.
Yeah, I like to build weird AR calibers. So right now I'm building out a 7mm Odd 8 instead of a 300 blackout. I like that 7mm Odd 8. That's my deer gun, and I like to have universal rounds. So that's why I'm building that out. And then I'm also building out a 223 556. Light is possible because that's going to be our nighttime gun. That Taurus infrared or thermal scope is awful heavy to be packing around all night. So that's what we're doing, and just getting done with our first round of farming. We just got done cutting all of our hay, so that's got us busy. So now we're kind of in rest mode for another couple of days.
Yeah. We have a fishing derby with a bunch of kids this weekend, so we're getting ready for that tomorrow.
Yep.
So, yeah.
Cool. Very cool.
All kinds of fun stuff. And we're drinking, I have bubbly water. Hank has a seltzer.
Okay.
We're not nearly as exciting as you all.
So are you running the fishing derby?
We do it with with Safari Club International, the local chapter here. I've done a lot of stuff with them for years, but we had a women's fly fishing clinic in June and taught a bunch of ladies how to read water, how to know what bugs to use, how to cast, how to catch fish. All of them caught fish. And then we have the youth one is like 15 kids under 12 will come fishing, and they do it overnight where they learn about conservation and how to handle fish. And then they get to fish the next day. They have a camp out and marshmallows and all that.
That is cool.
And then we have a range day side in for hunting season coming up. And then another youth event, which is that like 100 kids?
Yeah.
And that's a range
cow.
day to give them like the opportunity to try different guns, different calibers and stuff like that with their parents. So no, I haven't been busy.
No, not at all. Good heavens.
I thought I was busy. I'm an amateur. Shoot.
It's fun though. It's nice to kind of give back to them and, help them open their horizons and learn new things.
On top of a wedding.
Oh yeah. And Leah's getting married the end of September, finally.
Oh, wow. Awesome. Well, congratulations to her.
Yeah.
That is fantastic. Where is she? She's still doing the photography. I see her photos all the time.
Yeah.
Where is she now?
She lives here in Colorado. She lives about 5 minutes away from us, 10 minutes from us, but
Oh, okay.
she is at a rodeo in central western Colorado right now.
Cool.
Her photos are awesome. Well, that's great. Congratulations to you
And
guys.
so
to
for
her.
another gun thing for the wedding, I spent my day today spray painting
Shotgun?
cap guns. Yeah, with no shotguns, but cap guns. One of her party favors are instead of throwing rice, everybody gets to shoot cap gun revolvers.
Awesome.
That is cool. That is cool. Hank, that particular caliber on the AR that you're building, the 7mm Odd 8, what is it about that caliber? Why is it you're building that one out, and what is that particular caliber for?
I use it a lot for hunting, and that's my go-to gun. Is a youth model 7mm Odd 8. I've got a safe full of everything you could think of, and it always seems like that's the one that comes out of the safe. It's easy to carry on a saddle, across the saddle, and a lot of our hunting is from horses.
Right.
And so I reload. So why not, me thinking of the paranoid individual that I am, I want as many light calibered rifles and pistols as I possibly can. So that's why I'm building out a 7mm Odd 8
Gotcha.
instead of a 300 blackout or something like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's a good caliber with low recoil and a good flat shooter with a lot of energy when it hits. So you can hunt a deer or a bear or elk with it.
Okay, that was my next question. What game
Yeah.
do you use it on? So pretty much
I don't know if
anything.
that's his plan with that one, but with the other one,
It's
that's
basically a 308 is what it
Okay.
is, basically. It's the same cartridge. You can re-cartridge. You can use that cartridge. It's basically a 308 is what it is.
Okay. All right. Donnie, how are you? What have you been up to, my friend?
Well, how am I coming in tonight? I'm on a different computer.
Well, you're coming in
So
great.
good.
Yeah, I bought a new laptop just for this. Well, I got it from half price with my discount. And I will be in your area the first week of October.
Really?
Eureka Springs, right?
No, that's about an hour from me. I'm in Bentonville.
Oh, Bentonville. Well, we're flying into Fayette.
Oh, so are you going to XNA or the other one?
We're going to Fayetteville International, whatever it is.
Okay, so
Regional.
that's the bigger one.
Yeah, the bigger one. And then we
Okay.
got a condo for a week in Branson.
Cool. Do you need a ride? I've got a car big enough for people.
Well, we got one rented. We got one
Okay.
rented. But we're not doing a lot with guns. We just had some walleye tonight that we caught in
Nice.
in June, the middle of June up north. Best walleye fishing year we had, despite we almost sunk the boat because it rained so much. But Peter's here, and 2 more weeks from tonight will be. We should have him moved into his apartment in Laurel, Montana, where he on the 11th he will officially become Vicar Peter, the Vicar of Laurel,
Nice.
and that's in the Billings area of Montana. So it is a long day's drive from here. I had a tearing thing happen to me a week ago. I got it when this is my 3rd trip to Montana this summer that's coming up. But the 2nd trip, we went to Shields in Great Falls, Montana. I bought a new bow mount trolling motor, one that you just hit a button and it'll hold you in place with the GPS. And saved over $107 buying it in Montana because no sales tax.
Nice.
Nice.
So I was backing into the lake. Peter was holding on to the boat, and we took and we were backing in, and he says it's not hooked up. I got out, didn't put the brake on, didn't take it out of gear. And let's just say I'm saying the Lord was with me because I was about ready to walk right behind the truck as it's in the lake and going farther into the lake.
Oh boy.
And I got up along the side. My door doesn't work quite as good anymore, but praise the Lord, the door probably saved my life because it caught against the dock and stopped the truck.
Oh gosh.
So that's the bad news of the day. The good news is within a couple hours, we got enough sunnies for a big meal that night. So it was scary. Made me think a lot about doing stupid things and how the Lord watched over me. But we're haven't done much shooting this summer, but done a fair amount of fishing and having some fun. And then Sunday we're gonna go see this guy in a little bit south of us.
Okay. What are you drinking tonight?
Nothing actually.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All
the other news for me is I saw the doctor for my hip. I have a hip replacement in my future. I have a knee replacement in my future and probably something with my back. They want to look at all 3 of them before they decide which one we do first. I'm gonna probably if it's the hip, I'm gonna do a cortisone shot first and see if that relieves. It's getting a little better, but I haven't been sleeping good. I've been in quite a bit of pain. I cut back to not working more than 4 hours at a time. It's getting a little bit better, and my wife stretches my legs out every night, so that's helping. But I got another appointment for my knee on Thursday, and then on the 19th of August, I go see the back doctor. So it's not a lot of fun, but I've got a history on both sides of my family of joint replacements. I've got by farther than my dad got, but it's getting to the point where we got to do something.
Yep. Well, we'll all keep you in our prayers.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Pastor, what's up with you? What have you been up to?
Well, looking forward to having Donnie and Peter. Is your wife coming down too on Sunday?
Yeah, Mary Jane will be coming too.
Okay.
Oh, he's the
Very
guy
good.
you're going. Okay.
Yeah, they're gonna go. Well, and the
catch
part that
on to that.
stinks is we leave for vacation on Monday, and this Sunday was kind of like the only Sunday that worked. So we won't be able to have you stay all day, but early afternoon we got to start getting ready for going on vacation. Well, and the reason for that is my wife had tonsillectomy on the 2nd of this month. Don't recommend it if you can avoid it. It was kind of a miserable recovery for her, but she's doing well. Right now, don't have a lot going on gun wise. Looking at selling my Russian-made AK because I got medical bills to pay. That's no fun, but so if anybody is interested in a Saiga that I converted from, back in 2008, I bought it the day that Obama got elected, and it's been
America's
it's
number
hardly
one
been
gun
shot.
seller.
That's right. It's hardly been shot, maybe 500 rounds through it, but it was that sporterized version of the Saiga where they moved the trigger group back. I got that for $450 and did the conversion myself, and now you can't touch one for anything under 1,500, if not 12, or if not $2,000. So
yeah,
I got to get rid of that. But the consolation is I've got an 80% AR lower that I need to finally get milled out and built, and that'll kind of be my consolation prize. So right now, just I'm kind of pissed at CPH, Concordia Publishing House.
What happened?
Well, and I don't know how far I'm going to take this, but because I wanted to do the honest thing back, like 10 years ago, maybe not quite that long ago, we were reproducing some of the hymns from LSB because we use TLH for the most part. And then in 2021, the church I was serving as vacancy, they closed. They gave us all their LSBs. We use it once a month. And so we stopped paying that bill, and they kept sending the bill, and my treasurer sent it back and said, well, we have hymnals now. And they sent an email that said, well, you live stream. And they showed screenshots of our Facebook page and said, well, you're in violation of copyright law because you're not paying us to be able to live stream our copyrighted content. And I mean, it's only $135. But it's the principle of the thing. They start out the email, oh, we're so glad that you've got this outreach that you're live streaming, but we're not so glad that you're not paying us $135 a year to have our permission to live stream your services. So I don't know how they thinly veiled the threat that, oh, your Facebook page can get shut down if you're violating our copyright.
Is that how that works? If you use CPH's hymnal for a live stream, you got to pay a copyright fee?
Unless it's public domain, you have to pay a copyright fee.
Yeah. So what I'm going to be looking at the very least, getting a resolution, hopefully to the convention floor that, first of all, the email they sent me was tantamount to extortion that, if you don't do this, we're going to get you shut down, dang it. But you're supposed to be in the business of providing services to Missouri Synod congregations, and you're going to fine them for being so bold and brazen as to live stream their services. Just because they have the legal right to do that. I mean, not me, but my daughter has a legal right to go get an abortion. Doesn't make it moral or permissible.
We've said that on the show.
I can legally have intercourse with as many women as will give me the time of day, but it doesn't make it right. So just because it's legal doesn't mean it's moral. And it's the majority of our viewers are shut-ins who can't make it to church on Sunday morning.
Yep.
Or people who are gone on vacation, people who have to work Sunday morning. So I'm perturbed about that.
Yeah, I
But
can understand.
in recent years, CPH has operated a lot more like a for-profit corporation than as a service to the church. And I mean, I don't want to make this all about CPH, but that's enough for that.
Yeah. By the way, the term that you're looking for, it's not really a copyright fee. It's a mechanical license.
Mechanical license. Yeah.
Like a clip in a magazine.
Yeah. So if the music, well, you can't do the liturgy without their copyrighted material.
Well, yeah, they said, you're live streaming our liturgy and our hymns, and we only use LSB once a month, but they also have the copyright to TLH, and it's not public domain for another 12 years. 2036, TLH becomes public domain.
What are you drinking? I know you're having to.
Not nearly enough, but
not nearly enough.
Oh, it's kind of mirrored. It's Talisker Storm.
Talisker.
It's good stuff. One of my favorites.
Your CPH sorrows. I'm afraid to actually mention what I've got. I'm not proud of the name. This was a Father's Day gift.
Arrogant bastard.
Yes,
that's good stuff.
It is good stuff.
It is a little hoppier than I was expecting.
I've never seen it in the can. I've only seen it in like the 24-ounce bottles.
Yeah.
Very hoppy. Okay, so we all know what's on everybody's minds. So I've been waiting to hear what you guys think about all this. I don't know where to start. Should we start with Vice President Cackles, or Trump's choice for VP, or the incident in Butler, Pennsylvania? Where do you all want to start? That's a whole lot of stuff that's happened since we were together.
Dealer's choice. You could be here for hours.
Why don't you start with Butler? That's the older one.
Let's start with Butler. Yeah. That I was thinking we might save that for last, because that's probably the thing we're going to talk about the most. But let's go ahead and get into that. Your reaction and thoughts initially to what we saw, and then to the absolute goat screw that happened, that it turns out the Secret Service apparently allowed to happen. Will, what were your thoughts when you first saw it? And then, because a lot, you got that, I always talk about the 72-hour rule. Don't make any comments for 72 hours until you know as much.
It's a good rule.
It's a good rule, because a lot of what we heard is, again, in this particular case, is, as with every mass shooting and every violent incident where they're trying to point fingers, if you wait 72 hours for the dust to clear, you'll have a better idea what you're dealing with. But I'm still not sure exactly, what is it, 2 weeks on now, that we know a whole lot more than we did when it first happened.
I don't think we ever will. I wonder if this is going to go down
like
the JFK shooting. Well, like Las Vegas, we still don't know even what he had. And those who are controlling the narrative, both politically and mainstream media, and I know a lot of that crosses over and is kind of repeating yourself, but the idea that we're actually going to get a real clean and accurate and honest tale of what happened and why, I don't have any faith that's going to happen.
Yeah, I hear you.
So it makes zero sense, and I get that the building was on a different property, but this is a former president and somebody who's actively running.
It's 150 yards. It should never have. It should have been within the security perimeter. It's just insane that it wasn't.
It's like that joke, and I think we've talked about it before. It's the my pronouns. I identify as a conspiracy theorist, and my pronouns are told you so. And you could go down that route, and chances are, the crazy thing that comes out of your mouth is probably going to be more accurate in the long run than what we hear out of the media for the next 6-8 months.
Well, and to get to your point about the conspiracy theory stuff, when the government doesn't give us clear answers to what happened,
Mm-hmm.
the conspiracies get worse. It just allows people to fill in those blanks. If the government's not going to do it, then I can come up with all kinds of stuff. And the first thing that everybody was thinking was, oh, this is the government trying to take out Trump, or this is the lefties trying to take out Trump. I'm not sure that's the case, but I'm not. I now it's just gotten worse and worse. I mean, we've got conspiracies suggesting that Trump like staged all of this, and
that's not possible.
It's completely nuts. I mean, some of it is just out of this world stupid.
He'd have to be beyond insane to put his life in the hands of a trained sniper to shoot his ear off.
Right.
And this kid was not a trained sniper.
No.
And he's such an unknown. He's somehow registered Republican, but and never posted on social media.
Yeah.
And
the whole thing about registering Republican, Pennsylvania has a closed primary. So he basically registered as Republican so he can vote against Trump in the primary. At least that's the working theory.
That's
the only one that makes
reasonable
sense
than the other stuff that I've heard.
Yeah.
Hey,
but
Mia,
you've got the oh, go ahead.
I would say Occam's razor. The simplest answer is what it is.
Is probably
he's a disturbed young man, and we'll never know. And if we go anything beyond that, we're just digging a hole. It's not worth the air. I feel sorry for him and his family, and I think he's just a disturbed young man. I
think that's as far as the motivation's going to go. What I want answers to is not so much why he did it, because over the years, how many of these kinds of incidents have we seen? And
Jodie Foster,
and it just even if Uvalde or any of these mass school shootings, where it just boils down to you're dealing with a nutcase.
Yeah.
And it's as simple as that. But when we don't get answers, people tend to fill in the blanks with the crazy ideas.
That you don't get answers. We're what's going on.
Yeah.
Yeah, and what I want now at this point, and I think the American people deserve, is an answer as to how was this allowed to happen? There's no
confidence.
It's either incompetence and negligence, and at this point, I don't know if there's much of a difference between the two in this instance, or there's some kind of active involvement in it from those who should have been protecting him, and I don't know which one's worse at this point.
The best commentary out there right now is from Dan Bongino, former Secret Service agent, who also still has contacts in the agency. He had an episode of his podcast back in April called "They're Trying to Get Him Killed," and this is when they were denying him the protection that he needed and had requested. And right now, the jackass that they got to replace this, disgraced former director. He was the one who was responsible for denying some of those requests for additional protection. So you have to ask the question, is this, incompetence or negligence, whether or not it is willful? It's really hard,
and that we talked about Occam's razor a minute ago, but I tend to also think that in most of these cases, Hanlon's razor fits in, because and Hanlon's razor is the answer is usually whatever you can attribute to malice is probably more likely stupidity or incompetence. And it's because it's easy for everybody who's got a conspiratorial mind to start thinking of the reasons why the government would allow this to happen as something nefarious. It's some conspiracy, and perhaps that's the case. But it's probably more likely that it's. I mean, if you watch that the testimony from the Secret Service director, that she is an absolute joke. There is no way she should have been in that position. It has nothing to do with her being a woman. Absolutely not. It has everything to do with the fact that she was hired because she's a woman and not because she's competent.
Yeah, well, she was a DEI hire herself, trying to bring more DEI, and more often than not, it seems in common practice, not just in the idea of wanting to have something more diverse, but it seems like you end up getting less qualified just to meet some arbitrary quota when the only criteria should be qualifications.
Yeah.
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 Just to clarify, when I talk about, willful incompetence, I don't mean in any way malicious, but the attitude, these are Biden appointees, and their attitude is, well, it's Trump and I hate him, so I don't care.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to do my job and protect him with the same vigorous way I would be protecting Biden.
Yeah.
We're going to give more protection to, Dr. Jill when she is a very low threat assessment, and we're going to, give Trump the bare minimum. The only thing that happened right that day was the shot from the counter sniper team. I mean, if you read up on that, it was a 400-yard shot through a partially obstructed view. They said it was like a 9-inch area that they had to shoot through between a tree to get the shot.
Wow.
So, yeah. It wasn't the sniper team that you see on the video. It was a
one on the
team
other
off
side.
camera. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, am I way out of line in saying, in my opinion here, I am totally okay with Secret Service going full, not full DEI, but going for their DEI aspirations, and just saying, just put the DEI team on Biden or Harris, and not on Trump. Would that be okay to say, or am I out of line?
Yeah, for just, if you want to hire somebody because they are a quote unquote diversity hire, that's fine if they're competent and capable of doing the job. But when you can't even reholster your stinking sidearm,
and you're 5 foot tall,
yes,
you're too short,
and you're there to be a human shield, whether you like it or not.
Well, and my understanding was that most of that detail wasn't even. I keep wanting to say Social Security. Wasn't even. They might have been from Social Security for all we know. That they were DHS people and not largely Secret Service, because Trump's Secret Service detail was overworked.
They were overworked, and they had both Kamala and Jill were having engagements that same weekend. And so they had their own details that were, far more robust, even though,
and that's why you leave that 150-yard roof to local law enforcement instead of securing it with U.S. agents.
Well, and it was identified as
a
potential threat hazard just because of its proximity to the stage. It was supposed to have a detail posted at it, and the Secret Service didn't bother to confirm whether or not there was a detail posted on that roof. They decided to go in the building instead.
I saw today. There are at least 5 windows on the top floor of the building that was overwatching that roof, and somehow they still missed it. There were 2 snipers sitting in. I don't know whether, have you seen some of the body cam footage where they're standing on the peak of the roof trying to figure out what went on? No. There's agents standing on the roof talking to each other, trying to figure out, all right, well, how many shots and is this the guy? One of them is asking, there was one with the suit, and the rest of them are in full gear. And the guy with the suit is trying to figure out, he's probably trying to figure out, well, how do I explain this mess? And so he's asking questions of the guys in the kit, and they're like, yeah, this is the same guy that we saw. They took a picture of him from the snipers in that window. And if you look over the guy's shoulder, just on the other side of the roof, there is an overwatch. There's a window where snipers had overwatch, and he still managed to get up on the roof in front of them. I don't know whether that's because they were focused on, for some reason, those snipers were focused on the crowd for some reason. I don't know why, but it doesn't make a whole lot of sense how this guy, and then of course, what's the guy's name at FBI? Ray.
Yeah.
In his testimony, saying that what might have contributed to him getting onto that roof with a gun unnoticed was the fact that it had a collapsible stock.
I have a collapsible stock. No, that's a stupid. I saw that.
Yeah.
I saw that.
So if you shorten your
that.
stock from here to here, it becomes invisible. Apparently.
No. Yeah.
Oh my.
Street clothes, it's the camouflage. They couldn't see him. That's how it happened.
The whole thing, it doesn't, all these stories, whether it's Kamala or whether it's the Biden incompetence, they all have the same problem. And there's a lack of light on it. There's a lack of being upfront and honest about things. The left and the leftist communist media has been stonewalling us and blocking us about Mr. Trump, Mr. Biden for the last 4 years, and saying lies about Trump and the Republicans and Romney and everybody else. All you Republicans out there, you're a bunch of racists and Nazis. Even though they don't even know what a Nazi is, they're the closer to being Nazis, controlled economy, etc. So it's all the same thing. The lack of being upfront and honest to the American people, all of it.
Stu, you bring up an interesting point. You think about a young, impressionable kid just finished with high school, and he's been told since 2016 that Donald Trump is a Nazi and that those who follow him are Nazis. And then suddenly it seems like a moral obligation, if you have the opportunity, to take a shot at the guy that you've been told is Hitler.
Yeah.
So what culpability do the media have in all of this?
Yes, but
they'll say none.
We also know now, and I don't know whether you heard this. This is something that Director Ray mentioned in his testimony. One of the last things that this guy searched on Google was how far. How far the guy was in
Lee Harvey
Oswald in the book depository was from JFK. This is a kid who's trying to make a name for himself.
He wasn't well educated because everybody knows it was the CIA agent on the grassy knoll. I say that tongue in cheek.
Fill him in on that apparently.
But there's a great documentary that was just on Netflix about JFK of what the doctors saw. And the entry wound was from the front, not from the back, where Lee Harvey Oswald would have been. So, yeah. Anyway, there's today's conspiracy theory.
He got killed by a communist, JFK.
Yes.
And then the psycho guy from the owned the bar killed him, Jack Ruby.
Yeah.
They're both loser psychos. One was a communist fellow traveler, and now we have the fellow travelers in the White House, but whatever. Nice dog, by the way. Looks like a good
They all of a sudden are pretty needy.
Yeah, that looks like a blue heeler.
Yeah, there's two of them. They're making all kinds of racket. That's why I've had my mic on mute.
Time for dinner, Mom.
Yeah, well, I don't think they're used to both of us being in here. They're kind of like they have to be included, I guess.
What do you guys think about the water tower? Have you heard about that? The other shooters, the other bullets coming from the water tower?
I have not heard that, but I have seen in a lot of that footage from within the venue. I wondered about that. Why did he crawl up on that particular roof? He went around supposedly on the back of the building and climbed up on that roof. When the water tower, I was like, wait a minute, there's a water tower back there. Why wasn't that? Maybe that was better secured. I don't know.
Maybe he wasn't good enough to make that long of a shot.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah, like me.
that's very possible too, because
they said he was rejected from the shooting team at his college.
High
But
school.
he had
high school.
high school. Sorry, high
That
school.
drew a ton of comments. I when that first came out, there were all kinds of people who were like, "What are they talking about? They have shooting teams in high school? What craziness!"
It's rural Pennsylvania.
That's
Fastest growing participation sport in the United States, high school shooting.
well, in states where hunting is still a big thing. A
Well,
lot
plays
of rural high schools still have shooting teams.
Well, in Minnesota, all the schools up here in the Twin Cities have clay teams. You know.
What's it like in Mia? What's it like in Colorado?
We passed Hunter Ed in the schools is available. We passed that 2 or 3 years ago now. And here locally, we've taught in the 6th grade for I don't know how many years. It's since, I don't know, probably 30 or 40 years they've been teaching in Hunter Ed in schools. And they just, with this law that passed, they have to learn gun safety, but they don't have to do the hands-on shooting unless they want to do. If they want their Hunter Ed card, then they have to.
Right.
Hands-on shooting. But as a Hunter Ed instructor, what I've seen is they learn enough from the video games that they don't need to take it in school or like they're learning quite a bit. And depending on what games they're playing.
Okay.
You know, some of them obviously are just like spray and, you know, slaughter, but there's others that are actually teaching marksmanship. So, and it's very creepy.
It is. What sort of skills are you seeing that are transferring from those games? Is it safety? Is it handling? Is it just terminology? Is it is it marksmanship? Is it all of the above?
A little of all of it. And why I say it's creepy is the reactions of some of these kids when they actually have live fire is like the transfer from the virtual to real. And I actually, one of our local wildlife officers, the game warden, and we went and talked to one of our higher ups because it was it made me not want to teach because I was like, am I teaching the next school shooter? Am I, you know, like what's going on? And really the way they kind of talked to us through it is we're probably the only positive outlook that certain individual is getting because we are teaching ethics and we're teaching what happens when you pull the trigger and that you're not going to get to take it back.
Right.
So
you get a redo in the video games.
Right. Yeah. And so if I have a youth only class, we talk a lot about that. The issue that I have is they're transitioning us to internet classes and then we have just a 4-hour conclusion. So we don't get as much time to go over a lot of that ethics and responsibility with them that we would have. So yeah, it's interesting. But I don't know if I talked to you guys about the assassination generation. This book, it's by Lieutenant Colonel Dave Grossman. And he basically talks about how that like we're raising with the media and the TV. And like you guys even mentioned, like, did he want to be famous? You know, like there's that whole aspect, but then the video games and how those are training the kids. A lot of the kids years ago, it was just, we'll try to shoot, but now shoot him in the face.
Right.
Why didn't they aim for the body? Because they knew, I mean, President Trump had a bulletproof vest on, I'm sure. And, you know, and that's something that I haven't seen a lot in the media is somewhere they said there was a shot in his side, but I've never heard anything else about that. If that hit the vest or what that was about. But the kids now are shooting, like one of the kids that has shot his grandmother shot the grandma in the face. And that was unheard of years ago because of they've been desensitized now.
It's very personal to do it that way too.
Yeah, and that's the video games are desensitizing these kids.
You get more points for shooting them in the head or in the body versus a leg shot.
Fortnite is one of the most destructive games to young boys.
Yeah, and I don't know the names of all the games. I actually like Hank and Leah when she was young. It was like, let's get video games. And I was like, no, I don't know. Don't see a good influence with that. But if you guys haven't read this book, you had to pick a good time to read it. I actually listened to it and read it. Like when I was traveling, I listened to it, but it's tough to listen to. It's not fun.
I'm going through the Lord's Supper by Chemnitz again. Sorry, I'll have to wait.
Yeah. I'm in the book of Daniel right now, so.
Oh, that's better. Hey, Lloyd, what was that TV show you told us about? I don't know, was that Fortnite?
Fallout.
Okay, thanks a lot for telling me about that. So I had to watch the whole bloody thing.
Bloody's right.
That takes a lot less time than playing the games.
The game, will eat your life.
I just finished the second, well, not the second one, but the second one I've played, New Vegas. 120 hours later.
Easily. Yep.
Yeah. More if you want to discover every single storyline.
I really enjoy those games and games like that, because it allows you to make decisions that have a moral component to them, that if you make the wrong choice, it comes back to bite you at some point. And so, but for kids who don't have any moral grounding, I don't know, it's interesting. I'd be curious to know how they approach some of those moral quandaries in games like that. Maybe why they don't play them as much as older folks like you and me. They like the shooters like Fortnite, Call of Duty, and Modern Warfare, and whatever. I don't have the twitch, the hand-eye coordination for that stuff anymore.
Never did.
Mia, what was your reaction to the whole to the shooting, and what did you think of what we've seen in the last 2 weeks from our government?
There's so many thoughts, Lloyd.
I start to say.
Really, I kind of tried to do, like you said, the 72-hour thing. And it's really interesting because I feel like it's just another thing to divide us even further. But also, it wasn't supposed to go the way it went. And so then, we knew that after the primaries were done, Biden would have to step down. It wasn't supposed to be going the way that it ended up going. But it's just all part of the game. And so maybe I have a tinfoil hat, but it's really horrible to watch. But also, I always go back. I said I'm reading the book of Daniel. It's like it's all written in there, everything that's happening. And, it's like sitting back and like, okay, at least we're going to be okay. We might suffer down the road, and the pastor can probably speak more on it than me. But that's what I just keep having to go back to. If you go out here, everything is just fine. But if I go into the news, or now, like, I'm hardly even on social media because it's just so much craziness.
Yeah.
And what I noticed is, like, I shared, one of my old editors had shared something about, like, maybe sometimes the best thing to do is to not say anything at all. And people are like attacking me over that. No, we need to speak up. And I'm like, you're telling me of all people that I need to speak up? Like, I do speak up, but this isn't the time. Like, it was, like within hours of it happening, and everybody's, up in arms and, ready to take up their arms and go to war and all this stuff. So it's just, it's a lot. It's a lot. And that's why I try to kind of like distance myself from social media, because it causes anxiety. It's crazy.
It sucks you in really easily. Even, Twitter was horrible before Elon Musk, and it got horribler because of all the censorship that went on. now that Musk runs it and it's an open forum again, it's back to being what Padre said. I think it was the first season. It's like, what did you say? It's
something you don't have to jump into a sewer to know it's
sewer
filthy.
to know that it's filthy. Yeah, exactly.
Well, Lloyd, you said it sucks you in, but if you had stopped that sentence in the first couple words and just said it sucks, you'd be just as right. Hey guys, my family's trying to get me out of here because we're at a friend's house watching the drag show of the Olympics, and
God,
that's another story.
It's a whole
Lordy.
different discussion.
So, but they're anxious to get home, so I got to go.
Oh yeah,
shalom to y'all, and
blessed evening.
Bye bye, Will.
Don't vote for the Harris one. That's just all men are wrong. Anyway, shalom to y'all. God bless you.
All right, bye, buddy. I was amused earlier when David got up to get something from behind him somewhere. It was almost like he walked off into the Italian
into the screen.
landscape. It was really cool. I was distracted by that.
I did that just for Will.
Okay.
Hey,
Lloyd, when do I know I need to renew?
You should get a reminder.
Okay.
I can check.
Thank you.
I can check and see when that is. What do you guys think if the shooting in Pennsylvania doesn't happen, does Biden drop out?
Yes.
Probably still, I would think so.
Yes.
I think so.
I think the debate is what did him in more than anything. I don't think he could have survived that.
But you know what? They were setting him up for that ahead of time. They've been disguising all his inefficiencies for the past 4 years, 3.5 years. They've been disguising it. Yep. And then if you notice, leading up to that debate, the month beforehand, the news was showing him pooping his pants. They're showing him forgetting what he said, where before that was happening, but the news wasn't showing it. So the media is like, okay, we have to start this narrative now, because after the primaries, they had to wait so that we couldn't choose if we're choosing Democrats, or, like we can't choose as voters who we're going to vote for. And I mean, and
now they've done it again.
Yeah.
Which I found interesting. Even Black Lives Matter came out and said, wait a minute, you've just taken the guy that we all voted for out and replaced him with someone we didn't vote for. This isn't democracy. And I was like, oh my gosh, I've just agreed with Black Lives Matter. What world is this?
But it's the truth.
Yeah. It is. This was a bloodless coup.
It'll be a bloodless coup if the idiot Cackler wins.
Yeah, because
there's a very likely chance that she will, because they're going to play, if you call her a cackler, you're the mean guy. Where
I am a mean person. Mia, you don't know me. I am mean. Ask John.
I know, but they're all about and so the liberals are just going to be like, oh, you're being mean, so they're going to support her more.
Oh, you're sexist. Oh, you're racist.
Yeah,
oh,
you're demonizing her, so you're bad. And that's something that, going through this narrative, I was just telling Hank, she very easily could win if Trump says the wrong words. If he doesn't play it right, if he plays it like he did with Hillary, she'll win.
He's got to debate it on the issues. Speaking of Hillary, I think that would be the best case scenario for Republicans, is to choose someone like Hillary as the running mate, because
it's a VP.
It's a running gun match of which one is more irritating to the general public.
Who do people despise?
She's got to pick someone that's going to fit into a certain category. It's going to be a homosexual.
It's going to be
Buttigieg.
Yep.
It's got to check some intersectional box. She's already got the colored person, woman boxes checked, so they're going to have to check something else. And I think Hank's probably right. It's probably going to be somebody. They're not going to choose Shapiro from Pennsylvania. No. He's a Jew.
That would incite the radical base.
He'd lose Minnesota. They'd lose Minnesota, or they're afraid that they'd lose Minnesota, because that's who they've been pandering to.
Minnesota and Michigan.
Yeah, ever since. Oh, yeah, Dearborn's in Michigan. That's true.
Yep.
ever since the Gaza war started, they've been tiptoeing around that voting block. There's no way they're going to choose Shapiro.
No.
Yeah,
I've heard
I hope it's voted again.
Mark Kelly being tossed around, but
that's possible.
She already said it was going to be a guy.
yeah.
Oh, did she?
Yeah.
Gonna be Buttigieg. I'm Mark.
No, it can't. He's not a guy. That's mean. Sorry.
Maybe
Sorry,
our
Pete.
governor. I'd love our governor to go.
But you notice that like they were floating Gretchen Whitmer and a couple of other people, and they asked those people, would you be interested? And they were like, no, I don't want any part of that sinking ship.
Yeah.
If that goes down in flames, your aspirations for being president in the future are gone for good.
Well, Whitmer isn't as popular as everybody thinks she is. She banned the sale of seeds during COVID because she didn't want people gardening. I've got a sister that lives in Michigan, and
but that needs to be brought up, John.
Yeah, they refer to her as Whitler.
Yeah. Well, and I don't think
all these things need to be brought up.
As popular as the media is going to try to make her out to be.
No. This is the lady that dropped out before the race even started in 2016.
Yeah,
or 2020.
Before they'd even gotten to her home state of California, she dropped out because she was less than 1% of the polls. She's still trailing Trump, but to Mia's point, if Trump says something stupid, the best thing Trump could do is take the same approach that he took with Biden and let shine that. I think it was something another Ben Shapiro was saying the other day, whoever the election is about is the one that's going to lose. And if if the focus stays on Trump, then he may lose this. If he can keep the focus on Kamala and her word salads and her annoying cackling and her
policies
and her
what she has stated.
Yeah. And tie her to Biden. You've got to tie her to Biden.
Tie her to all her Marxist ideology.
Yep.
And
Biden, the border, her performance in California.
Yeah. And as fun as it would be, ignore the whole Willie Brown connection. Yes, everybody knows she got into politics by being Willie Brown's whore, but
sleeping to the top.
Yeah. I wasn't suggesting pointing out her annoying characteristics. I think that will naturally come
Those are
out.
self-evident.
If you keep the focus on her and her policies and people are looking at her, they will see those annoying quirks. They will
contrast these last 3.5 years with his administration. But how often do we get an election where we already know the record of both people who are running?
Yeah. As Lloyd knows, I'm not a Trump supporter, and I don't see how Trump can keep his stupid mouth shut about these things. He likes ripping people apart.
He was doing a good job with Biden. I was amazed that he was allowing, but that now that the Biden is gone and now that focus, the media is going to focus on him. He's got to play it the same way that he did before Biden dropped out, and that is
Does he have the ability for you Trump supporters out there? Does he have the ability? I don't know.
He does. He's a little bit more humble after the whole shooting event, I think.
Yeah.
I was impressed, at least with the first
20 minutes of his speech were great.
That speech when he said, "I'm not supposed to be here," and everyone was chanting, "Yes, you were. Yes, you are." And he said, "Thank you, but no, I'm not." That struck me.
Yeah, but by the grace of God, he's alive.
Yes. But then he droned on for another 60 minutes, and I think that was a mistake. But if he can keep it concise and not go off, making fun of her quirks, and if he can focus on her record, I don't know how she can unburden her. She talks about unburdened by the past, but she can't unburden herself from being tied to the last 3.5 years of Biden's administration. His policies are her policies.
Yeah.
She was
and
there.
the fact that she's done absolutely nothing. You know, it's funny how the media is trying to remove her title of border czar. So, but anyway, folks, I've been on about 10 minutes longer than I told my wife I'd be, so I got to get going.
Yep.
See you, John.
Good to see you all.
See you on
Blessed evening.
Sunday.
Yep. See you then, Donnie.
Yep.
Y'all have a blessed evening.
Have a good night.
Thank you.
Bye bye.
Yeah, I guess it is. Wow, we did run. I should have known with this topic we would have run a little over an hour on this, or we could probably end up going 2 or 3.
The thing is, Lloyd, they're, like I said, they're all tied together. You brought up Biden, you brought up Kamala, or how you say her name. They're all tied together. It's all about obfuscation. That's all it's all about.
I think if you just point out the fact that 2 weeks ago she was saying Joe Biden's sharp as a tack, and then a week later they throw him under the bus and put her in. Like, how does that work exactly?
That's like saying I'm sharp as a tack, and I'm not. I admit it.
Well,
I retired because of health problems. You know, a person has to know their limitations. Unfortunately, our politicians don't seem to understand that. That's like Trump. Yeah, he's better than Biden health-wise and mental-wise, but he should have known that it's been better to let somebody young get in there. But anyway, that's water over the dam.
It is. Unfortunately, we are stuck with what we've got. And
yes,
compared...
No, we're not. We can do the same thing as the Democrats.
That's never going to happen. That is never going to happen. But if we can get through this election, it sets us up pretty well. I think for all the media is going to try to tell us how wonderful Kamala is, it's not going to pull her up to 40% approval. I mean, she's still at 37 or 38, and that's high for her. I don't think there's any way, barring something stupid by either Trump or Vance, I don't see any way that the American people look at those two and say, yeah, I want the same thing we had for 3.5 years, just with a cackle at the end, a goofy laugh and some word salad. I just can't imagine. I think with the border and the economy, I can't imagine people voting for more.
Well, the economy is doing good, according to people. You know, it looks like it's doing good, but the prices I pay aren't doing good.
And that's the thing. You can't.
Though we only pay $3 a gallon for gas.
We can't pay any attention to what we're told in the media. They've been gaslighting us for years. But the American people know when they go to the grocery store, they're paying more. When they go to the gas pump, they're paying more. And that's not getting any better. And their wages are not going up. And housing prices are out of control. Mortgage rates are too high. There's no way that people are going to say, well, everything's great now that we got a black lady as the nominee. It's all good now. I just don't, maybe I have overly optimistic faith in the American people to be able to vote with their pocketbooks as opposed to voting for their, I don't know, some intersectional thing. Ooh, first woman of color person. Yay, we need a woman president is more important to, I can't imagine that is more important to people than how much they're not able to save, how much they can't afford college, how much they can't afford a new home, how much more they're paying at the gas pump. I just can't imagine that they care that much about it.
If we want a woman to run, we'll vote for Mia.
I'd vote for Mia every day and twice on Sunday.
Oh, boys, you don't know me. You don't want me as the first gentleman. I promise you that.
It would be a huge upgrade. Huge upgrade. Yeah, we were running a little bit long. Final thoughts, anybody, on what you expect going forward? I mean, we know the playbook is to try to hide what Kamala is all about and to try to make her look awesome and wonderful. What do you think's going to happen?
Christ is returning. That's the thing that's going to happen.
That's the one thing we know. Sure.
Yes. Yes.
I'm just going to stick with Mia's doing the Book of Daniel, and in the Treasury Daily Prayer we've just been going through. Now we're into Saul being elected king. We know how that ends up, and we know what the judges did up and down. Here's Israel, up and down. Here's that great Samson guy. What a fornicator. But anyway, this is the way to continue. Mankind is evil. But by the grace of God, we are, what else are we going to, not much else we can do. Well, hello there, Elena.
You've got feline friends hanging out back there. It must be feeding time.
Well, they can eat whenever they want to. He's the quiet one. There's the other one. If Augie was there, then we'd be hearing noise.
David, what do you think?
I think it's going to be really messy for a while. What happens if they pull the 25th? Before the election?
That's a great question. Is like, okay, so he's not capable of running for office anymore, but he's capable of running the country for the next 6 months?
Right. So what happens if they pull the 25th before the election?
It's an interesting thought.
Mm-hmm. It is an interesting thought. I don't think it helps her any.
Mm-hmm.
I think that ties her more closely to Biden and this administration than, I mean, it didn't help Ford. I don't know that it's going to help her. But it is scary that what she could possibly do in the next 6 months if she had that kind of power.
Yeah. Well,
who's to say she doesn't have that power now? I mean, I don't know who's pulling the strings.
Lloyd, it's the same people been running the whole thing the whole time. Biden's never run anything. He never signed anything. He just did what he had an amanuensis or whatever you want. He had somebody else running things, and he wasn't running anything.
That resignation letter was even had a digital signature on it. I mean, for crying out loud.
I saw something online a couple of days ago. Same ventriloquist, different puppets.
Yep.
Obama's been running everything. I mean, Valerie Jarrett, isn't she part of the administration?
Most of the administration are old holdovers from Obama. So this is basically the second Obama administration.
Yeah, and third. Yeah.
I mean, it's funny too, because he thinks he's this great figure in American political history. Obama just absolutely hates his guts. He cannot stand Biden. And I think that he helped Biden get elected because he knew that it would be all of his people in the background running things anyway. Remember, it was Biden who said never underestimate, or not Biden, it was Obama who said that never underestimate Joe's ability to fuck things up. Those were his words. And he was right about that. He has never been, excuse my French, I'm sorry, but that
sounds like English to me.
Yeah, well, I was just quoting. But I think he knew Joe's not going to be running things. If he is, he's not going to be running from them for very long. And he can pull the strings somebody can pull the strings once he's mentally not really there anymore. And all of his administration are holdovers from Obama. So it's just
And they're all Marxists.
pretty much.
What was the ancient curse that said, "May you live in interesting times"? I think it was maybe the same guy who said, "May the fleas of 1,000 camels infest your armpits," or something like that.
It was Karnak, wasn't it? From
Yeah,
Johnny Carson.
Yeah,
Johnny Carson.
that was Ed McMahon.
Ed McMahon.
Yeah.
Probably, yeah, one of the two. What? So he holds up the envelope and
Yep, that was Karnak.
And says, "The sound a sheep makes." No, Sis Boom Ba. And he opens the envelope and it says, "The sound a sheep makes when it explodes." That was McMahon's favorite of the Karnak jokes.
Ed McMahon was absolutely we probably anybody who is watching this who's younger than all of us probably has no idea what we're talking about. But Ed McMahon was fantastic as far as a wingman for anybody he worked with. But for Johnny Carson, Johnny could say the stupidest joke and Ed McMahon would laugh himself silly.
Yeah.
He was absolutely the perfect foil.
It's still on. You can watch the reruns on Antenna TV.
Oh, sure. So the other day,
and they're still funny.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. The timeless humor is great. So I was doing a little consulting thing Wednesday morning, and I mentioned W.C. Fields.
Digging deep into the archives.
I said, just off the top of my head, I said, "Go away, kid. You bother me." And somebody who said that, and I said W.C. Fields, and none of them had a clue.
Never drink water.
None of them had a clue.
Never drink water because fish F in it. Another W.C. Fields. Donnie, what do you think? What do you think's going to happen?
Well,
is the Lord coming before we have to deal with all of this stuff in November?
Only him knows that. Well, I'm sorry, I called it a hymn, but
no one ever accused us of being politically correct on this show.
I'm not really happy with our choices, but let's just say I'm a whole lot happier with one than the other. And when I heard that, that it had happened, I said, "Oh, that's just like if they wanted Biden elected, that's the stupidest thing that could have happened."
That was an amazing moment. That shot, that photograph of him with the fist in the air and the flag in the background. All you needed was a bald eagle flying through it. It was just that was America squared.
They're even talking that Minnesota may go red this time, and there's 8 congressional districts in Minnesota. 4 of them are in the Twin Cities area, which I live in. The other 4 are red, and these are all blue. But the whole politics of the state of Minnesota are controlled by the Twin Cities.
That's pretty much the case everywhere. You look at Texas. If you back out from Texas, it looks like the sea of red. But if you get a little closer and you look, Dallas County, Tarrant County, Harris County, they're all with where our big population centers are. Down San Antonio, they're all blue.
Yeah, it's and we've got some real dandies, including our governor, and of course, she's not my representative, but mine is. Let's see, mine's probably the most tolerable one in there. But last time they pushed the abortion issue so much that the place where I live is pretty blue, that they got rid of all the Republicans from this area because they're violating our reproductive rights.
Mm-hmm.
And I just, it's I wish we would have had another good candidate, but hey, anything's better than the socialists that want to take over, and I'm starting to think that unless something happens, the United States is probably going to be more just a federation of states instead of a country, just because of the way they're running everything, and they're trying to do away with the Constitution. I mean, I look at even, and it's getting pretty bad even amongst Missouri Synod Lutherans, because the new president of Fort Wayne Seminary came out with an anti-firearms statement.
Really?
What?
Yeah.
No goody. I did not hear
Who's
that.
the new president? I haven't been keeping up with all the politics.
It's a brand new. He wrote something. I'm not saying he's really strong on it, but he wrote something. My son has my son will be the best man in January when this guy gets married, and he showed him something that he had written about anti firearms. Let's just put it that way. So
Dr. John Bruss.
Yeah.
Unanimously elected and designated electors in 2024. May 2024 will be installed in September.
Yep. So I don't know how big a thing it is, but
you did have that thing in the annotated large catechism that got everybody up in arms.
Yeah, and that's, my son has had that guy, and basically he says that, and I can't think of his name right now either, but he says that he likes to, one of these guys that likes to tell you something. He thinks you believe something, and he likes to tell you something just the opposite, just to get you thinking.
Okay.
But he is a pacifist.
Play devil's advocate.
The guy from St. Louis is a pacifist, but Peter will be out there in Montana where things are a little better.
Where things are a little different.
Yeah.
They don't cotton to gun control up in Montana much.
No, they don't. And they'd have a fully blue. They'd have a fully blue. The two senators and the two reps would be fully blue. How
did they end up with John Tester in Montana? I don't understand.
That's the guy that, and he was probably going to get defeated, but the red guy running against him lied, and it came out about being a veteran and stuff.
Oh, fantastic.
You got to remember, Montana was a very unionist state, and for many years, very pro-union. And so the Democratic Party was very big in Montana.
In western Montana, Butte.
Yeah, in Butte, Montana.
But the Flathead County, which I'm from, is the fourth largest county in the state. They can actually control pretty much the politics in western Montana for District 1. And actually, the representative from District 1 in Montana is Missouri Synod. He's also a former Secretary of Interior. And then District 2 is well, and Yellowstone County, the biggest county in the state, is very blue too. So
anywhere you
some
have
of the other counties are slightly.
Yeah.
I mean, no, Yellowstone is very red. The largest county in the state. Some of the other, well, especially Missoula County and Gallatin County, where the universities are, they tend to be blue, but not as strong blue as the rest of the state is strong. As about 3 other counties are strong red. So,
all right, Hank and Mia, I'm going to let you guys close us out. Last thoughts on what you think's coming.
I'm a very very pessimistic individual. I feel sorry for my children and grandchildren and all of them. I hate to say it, but I think we lived the heyday of it. And go Trump. I hope that he can pull it off and does the right thing and pulls us out of this. But I don't know if we're going to ever come out of this, at least in my lifetime.
I tend to agree. I tend to be a little more. I'm optimistic to some extent about the ability of the American people to see through some of the BS. But on the other hand, there's not a whole lot in this country that unites us anymore.
No.
And the longer we go, we don't have these shared values that we used to have, and church attendance declining and people turning away from God more and more. And it's used to be a shared societal value. That's why you get so many people celebrating when Trump got shot.
Right.
I can't imagine in 84, was it, or 81 when it was 84 when Reagan got shot. I can't imagine
81.
81.
I was still in the Navy.
That's right. It was first term. I can't imagine anybody, celebrating that he got shot. Even the people who vehemently opposed him and his candidacy. I can't imagine. I'm sure there are people who would, but if it had been Biden, I can't imagine people saying, "Wow, I'm too bad that the shooter missed." But we've gotten to a point where too many people, politics and government has replaced God and our little teams, who we vote for and what what side of the aisle we're on has taken precedence over even our united status as Americans. And I just don't know whether there's a way back from that.
Yeah, I don't think there is, but glass is half empty for me.
Well, what was that reminded me? What is that saying? There's a meme or a T-shirt I saw, and it had 3 glasses of beer, and they were all half full, and it was.
There's always room for more.
Yeah, it was like a half. And the third one was the Lutheran, and was like, "I need more beer."
Somebody, I think, shared that in the group. We need more beer in here.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, Mia, it was so great to see you finally, and I know you've been really busy. I'm glad you had a chance to sit down with us. Hank, thank you for joining us.
You're welcome. Nice to meet you guys.
Great to have you here, guys. Thank you for your participation. Thank you for putting up with the delay from last week. With everything going on at work and me trying to, I'm glad you can't see the rest of this room. It's just piled to the rafters with boxes. It's awful. I can't wait till this gets over with. But thank you for putting up with the delay from what was supposed to be last week's Hangout. And thanks for your continued support. And we'll see you again next month.
See you, Lloyd. Thank you.
Bye, guys.
For show notes, be sure to visit our website at www.armedlutheran.us. Check out the Facebook page, The Armed Lutheran, or join our Facebook group, Fans of Armed Lutheran Radio. If you like what you hear, please leave us a comment on our feedback page at armedlutheran.us/feedback, or a review on iTunes, and let us know what you think. Thank you for listening to Armed Lutheran Radio, a member of the Self-Defense Radio Network.